Yo, what's up, guys? American Mexican Gunslinger. I'm gonna wait for the chat a little bit before I start the show. Good to see y'all. Everybody, how's it going? Today is let me see, today is the 23rd of February, 2026. That's what they're telling us, supposedly. But, man, I got a lot to talk to you about this new show that we're watching, man. If you've seen the show Pluribus, I suggest you go watch it. But use AngelVid and skip all the gay nonsense that they put up there, man. It's always all these shows, man. They always have to involve some lesbo, a dyke. They always have to involve a gay dude, a fag. They always have to involve all these things, and when it comes to this worldly garbage that's all lustful, and it's disgusting, man. It's like, come on, bro. Like, oh yeah, I was born this way. God made me born this. Nah, bro. You just confused, bro. You just got confused by the devil. You know what I mean? And I've been to some churches where they allow that crap, and they actually, they love that crap. And it's so crazy. And hold on, no, I don't want that. My wife was trying to make me put these glasses for the blue light, but I don't know. It makes me look like a nerd. Well, there's no difference. Nah, there is a real difference with these glasses, but I look like a nerd, bro. I don't like looking like a nerd. I'm gonna take them off right now. I don't want my audience to think that, but like, this was a weirdo, bro, wearing blue light glasses. I know. I wear them, when you're watching TV, like, for long periods of time, or you're on the computer for long periods of time. Since I'm doing college and all that stuff, I have to wear them because, I'm on the computer for long periods of time. But besides all that, man, if you have seen the new show Pluribus, man, I tell you, go check it out. There's a lot of symbolism in there, and the symbolism that comes with it is that it's associated with Legion. Legion is a group of demons. You know what I'm saying? It's in the Bible when Jesus cast out that crazy dude that was, blocking their pathway to going. I forgot what they were going. But anyways, no one could cast out this demon. No one could, control him. He'd always break out of jail and break the shackles every time they would lock him up. It's because, he had these demons. They call themselves Legion. You know what I'm saying? If you want to go watch the show, it's on Apple TV. I highly recommend it. But use AngelVid, because, like I said, or VidAngel, because it's full of, let's just say, inappropriate things, especially if you're going to be around the young ones and you want them to watch the show with you. You have to use VidAngel, man, to block out all the nonsense, even curse words, so they don't hear all that crap either. But it gets deep, man. It gets deep. What's up, Tony? What's up, man? And yeah, let's get to it, man. I'm gonna show you the video on this show right now. Hold on. Oh, never mind. Right now, I'm just showing you a pic. Well, this pic is actually, a code that they receive from so-called quotation mark outer space. And supposedly, it's an encrypted message which they end up discovering. And we all know that we live on a flat surface of the earth. We are, that's why when people say it's a round spinning ball, they have been lied to, and in the truth, they can't escape from this lie because they have been born with this lie ever since they were born. So it's hard for them to escape the truth, man. It's hard for them to actually fess up and to actually, accept the truth. So they continue following and, this giant lie. But anyways, these so-called radio stations, these so-called, these satellites, they end up depicting this whole message up from outer space. You know, space is fake and gay, but regardless, you know, they show that's what that's what they did. You know, and hold on. All right, so that is 71 days and 13 hours and 20 minutes and 58 seconds ever since this so-called code or this depiction that came from space. But it actually gets deeper than that. It gets deep because what these people are doing right now, they are all under the influence, what I call it, Legion. You know, the show's called Pluribus, but I will call this Legion because I look at all these shows with my Bible glasses, and because the powers that be give you these messages, but this is Legion working, you know, because there was, I think, a few people that didn't get Legion, you know, or it's not Legion yet, my bad, you know, but they're trying to how do you call it, you know, solve the mystery of the code messaging that they got from outer space. That's what they're trying to do. My bad. But besides all that, you know, these people don't know what this encrypted messages actually have. This has something potentially dangerous, and they end up solving this potentially dangerous code, and they're testing it on rats because it's actually a vial for some mRNA DNA sequence, you know, kind of thing, and they end up resolving and they end up understanding what they were saying. But this chemical is extremely dangerous, man. It's extremely dangerous, you know. Right here on this video, man, the rat bites one of the workers and ends up just tremendously going into like a state of you know, uncontrollable, you know, neurological problems. But what they did is with that single rat bite that happened, you know, it actually caused the plethora of problems that includes throughout the series of the show. And that problem is the fact that that rat infected them with a so-called virus that a homemade virus that they basically made, but it didn't work on the rats. You know, they literally put it on the animals, on the rats, and they weren't fazed by it. It only works with human beings. So when that rat bit that human being, they ended up getting infected with that series of virus that they created in the lab, you know. But it gets way deeper than that, man. It gets way deeper than that. And then on this picture right here that I'm showing you right now, you know, the virus, you know, she ended up getting bit by the rat, correct? And she goes up to this dude, and the way they spread it is through, you know, in contact with each other. I mean, like, you know, like they have to literally ingest it by, you know, germs and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, she literally kissed this dude, like literally full blown tongue, and he ended up getting affected with the same virus. You know, so Legion was continuously spreading throughout this whole entirety, you know, and it gets way creepier than that, man. It gets creepier. So right here, you guys, they're literally taking samples of all the people that all these people are infected with Legion. They're infected with that virus, and all these people start, you know, licking, you know, cob swabs and putting the DNA into little containers, so they can continue spreading this virus as much as possible. And they start literally getting all the free donuts that they have for their employees, you know, in these boxes, man. Yeah, and they start licking these freaking donuts individually, one by one, you know. Right here we have a picture of a lady, you know, doing the same thing, and it says help yourself. Oh, it's called Pluribus, Tony. It's not a movie, it's a show. Pluribus. You can find it on Apple TV, but I suggest, you know, use a VidAngel to block out all the gay crap, all the lesbo crap, you know, all the explicit content, you know. But it just came out on Apple TV. You can go check it out and find it. It gets really crazy. But this lady right here, that one that got infected, she's right here licking all the donuts that they got for all their workers, and she's getting every single one and just licking it and putting it back, licking it and putting it back, licking it and putting it back. Basically biological warfare. And it says right there, help yourself, because all these donuts were free. They wanted to get as many people inclined with this virus, ladies and gentlemen. This is crazy, you know. And I necessarily don't call it a virus, more it's like a legion, because it gets crazier as time progresses. Right here is, she's one of the main characters, you know. Her name, I think her name's Carol, and she's one of the main characters. Of course, she has to be lesbo, you know. She has to be lesbo, but because of that sin, she ends up getting more severely murked, because, you know, I'm gonna make a part 2 of this video, but right now, you know, she's witnessing that all these people are acting strange and funny. But first it ends up being with this one dude that's in the truck. He ended up going in his truck all drunked out, you know, and she thought he was just drunked out, but in reality, you know, he was going to a state where this virus was interconnecting with all the people that have gotten it, aka Legion. You know what I'm saying? It gets crazy, man. And then her basically, hey, what's up, J Tig? Yep. What's up, brother? Um, you're in the middle. You got here just in time. I'm talking about this show Pluribus. You know about this. You know, go check out that show Pluribus. Like I said, it's on Apple TV, or Pluribus. Yeah, it's on Apple TV. But use VidAngel to block out all the gay stuff that happens. You know, all the bad explicit content. You know, but besides all that, man, you know, yeah, Tony, they do put everything. They put everything on everything nowadays. But yeah, dude, it's crazy, you know. And basically her girlfriend, yeah, she ends up going to the trance, but that trance ends up, you know, not working in her favor. She ends up getting murked because of that virus. She ends up, you know, getting off this world because of it. And her girlfriend Carol, she ends up trying to rescue her and take her to the emergency room. You know what I mean? Yeah, Bonnie. Yeah, that's why I go on VidAngel, man. That's why I go on VidAngel to watch. It blocks out all that bull crap. You know what I'm saying? It blocks it all off. You know, because I don't want to deal with that. You know, I literally tell myself they're just friends, bro. They're just friends. You know, they're not doing anything stupid. You know, and I just like, I don't like it. But you know, sometimes you have to pull through that bull crap just so you can see the messages that these powers that be give you. That's why I use VidAngel. It blocks everything. You know, if you don't like curse words, it also blocks that as well. You know, but she's over here trying to she's trying to rescue her friend. Yeah, I'm just gonna call her friend. And she ends up, like I said, she ends up not making it because the virus was just, she couldn't be controlled by it. And then right here is when Carol starts noticing that everyone starts dropping like flies and starts, you know, everyone's just freezing, you know, like their bodies are not responding. It's because this legion, this virus is all connecting to one another, every single individual that's living that's have gotten it. But yeah, it's really trippy. Yeah, this guy just fell and just broke his head open, you know. It gets deep, man. It gets deep, you know. And she's over here trying to take the phone from this person, and they can't because they're like locked in, intertwined. Their bodies just stuck shut, you know, kind of like a seizure state of mind. But man, it gets deep, man. It gets deep, you know. And this thing, you know, yeah, Bonnie, it's called Pluribus, you know, it's called Pluribus. And then she tries to call 911, but no one answers the phone. So she ends up taking her friend in that pickup truck where that man was driving, you know, where she thought he was drunk or whatever, and just pushed him aside. And she ends up going to the hospital, and then she ends up coming to this, you know. Yeah, J-Tig, yeah. And she sees that everyone's in a state of mind, you know.
What the hell is wrong with you people?
That's the crazy part, and everyone's just staring at her. Once everyone from Legion intertwines, or everyone with the virus intertwines together, they're like all together. Hi, Carol. Like they already knew who she was because her friend, the deceased one, all the mentality, all the mindset, all of her memories were intertwined with Legion, so they know her better, than she thinks, and she doesn't like the fact that they do, because even all her memories from her friend are within Legion, so they know everything that she likes, they know everything that she does, just like these demons, the known spirits, these demonic entities, they already know everything about you, and it's just a crazier part that they know your weaknesses, they know your strengths. You know what I mean? Yes, the hive man, J Tig. Yes, it's exactly what it is, man. But like I said, the way I'm seeing it is like Legion, man, because there were many, and they were all intertwined together with one another. All because of this code came from space, supposedly. Like I said, space is fake and gay. You know what I'm saying? But that's just the way they put it out there. But the message is that it's very clear, man. That third. Whatever this is, it's trying to show that the whole world population that has gotten, these coof things, whatever they have, and all the frequencies, all the subliminal messages that they give out, and the people that don't have eyes to see, they won't see them, and the people who don't have ears to ear, they won't hear it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a very crazy concept that this show got, but it gets even crazier, man. It says right there, landlines only. And basically this TV, the TV broadcast is literally talking to this lady Carol. It's literally saying, call the number 0 if you want to talk to them. It's creepy, man. So they're basically talking to everyone around the world. I think 11 other individuals are like Carol. You know what I'm saying? They all come from different parts of the world. And they can see her. How can they see her? Through the TV? Well, aka all these TVs in today's world, they're all smart TVs. I don't even own a smart TV, ladies and gentlemen. I get like old TVs that don't have this smart TV hardware. I just don't, man, because I like to go with the old school classic. My TV is not even 4K. It's like 720p, man. Like, come on, man. Like, when it comes to, television, all that, I'm not really watching it unless I'm watching something educational or something that's giving me messages and things like this, like the powers that be that always put up. And a lot of, normies are just going to watch it for entertainment. I watch it to see what these powers that be are telling us, man. They tell us through their TV shows and stuff. Oh, man, y'all never seen that movie, Tony Cell. That's crazy, but damn, the snow. That's crazy. I didn't know that. That's crazy. J Tig. Hey man, that's hard for me to pronounce. It's all right. Yeah, it's crazy, man. And it gets more crazier than that in this show, man. It gets crazier. Look, that's what they send her. They say, your life is your own. You are safe. But in reality, man, they want to intertwine everybody on the earth together. Man, dude, this show gets super scary and deep, man. It gets deep. Like, I'm just showing you the first episode, the first few things about it. But okay, I'll just say Tig. All right. But yeah, brother, yeah, sisters, this show gets deep. This is just barely the first episode, man. This is just it gets crazier. It gets worse. It gets horrendous. Like, it's just brutal, man. It's not like gory or anything. It's just the messaging that they give is just outright just crazy demonic, and it's just satanic, and it's just horrendous, that all these things are coming together. I know if it ain't broken, don't fix it or don't replace it. You know what I mean? You know, you know, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. I'm gonna go to the next one. And it says right there, we're not aliens. We're not aliens. You know, supposedly, you know, this message came from a so-called planet, Kepler 22b. You know, I was always a space freak when it came to this thing, you know, before my awakening with Christ and you know, and walking this walk. You know, I would believe in space. I would believe we were in a round ball. You know, I believed in all that crap, you know. You know, when I was in space, there was a planet. It's the so-called planet. They call it the Goldilocks zone, where, you know, they can sustain life and all that crap. I'm gonna use quotation marks. Everything that I learned from all that was a lie. You know, it's still considered a lie, but this is what their philosophy and their study was. Is that Kepler 22b was a planet that was, you know, I don't know how many light years away, but it was a Goldilocks planet that can sustain life, you know, and it was filled with water, supposedly. And supposedly that message came from that area and that planet. If you look up Kepler 22b on Google, it would literally come up as a real thing. So I don't doubt that the powers that be that are going to, you know, pull off this alien invasion are going to say that these beings are from Kepler 22b. Just remember that, ladies and gentlemen, because it is supposedly a super Earth. That's what they're calling it. You know what I mean? I think Tig, I think that is correct. You know, that is correct. Yes, that might be correct. I'm not sure. I don't think they explained it very well in the show, but all they said is that the message came from Kepler 22b. You know, it's just crazy, you know. And like I said, I was a space dude. I used to believe in space. I actually wanted to, you know, leave Earth at one point, go to the space and all that crap, you know, until you know how heartbroken I was when I realized this was a giant lie. I was just like, I'm stuck on this freaking planet, bro. Like, that's all bad. You know, I'm stuck with all these freaking normies, bro. Like, I want to get out of here. You know what I mean? Yeah, Tony. I mean, a lot of us were, man. Because we were fascinated with, you know, some of us are scared of the unknown, but sometimes we're fascinated with the unknown, man. You know, it's just crazy. It gets deep, man. Damn, Tony, yeah. Yeah, man, it really does get deep because all the lies that they put, like the powers that be orchestrated these fake philosophies. It's all mysticism. It's all, you know, garbage. You know, new age bullcrap. You know what I mean? Astrology and all that. You know, the stars, the constellations. You know, there are gonna be signs and symbols in the sky. You know, in the moon and sun and stars. You know, it tells us in the Bible. But, you know, and all this astrology, numerology, new age bullcrap, like, don't get into that, man. It's all demonic. It's all satanic worship, you know, at the end of the story, you know. Some of us ended up breaking the chains from that because, you know, a lot of truthers were putting a lot of truth out there. You know, just like that recent video RFB put up, man, with that. Oh, bro, that recent. If you guys haven't watched it, go check it out, bro. Dude, I'm like, dude, he just really did that. He's going to make all these people who believe on the round earth and the government saying it's all flat. That's crazy, bro. He's down, bro. That fool's down. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's all lies, Tig. It's all lies. You know, our whole governmental system when it comes to the educational system, it's to get the children. You get them at a young age, you know. You know, my daughter and my son, they'll always talk about, you know, what about space? And then I read to them the Bible and I tell them, you know, we live in a firmament. We can't escape it. You know, they're always talking about like, oh, man, I wish one day I can, you know, touch the firmament and feel it. You know, one day I want to see what's over the walls, you know, because, you know what I'm saying? You know, what's down in the Southern Pole, you know, I'm pretty sure it's the outer walls that, you know, that held the firmament and stuff. It's just crazy stuff, you know. And, you know, the things that they tell us in today's world, you know, in media, in the internet, you know, in society in general. You talk about the flat earth, you look like they make you look like a dumb skull, but in reality you're just like, wow, you are so damn delusional that you're believing a lie, and you believe that the lie is the truth. That is the scary part about this, ladies and gentlemen, that people believe a lie that is absolutely a deception, a giant deception. Like Satan was working 24/7. You know, there's a lot of proof. Even the military, you know, the Coriolis effect and all that, because like I said, I'm a gun tuber. I like to work with firearms. I like to shoot long range. I never have to, adjust my rifle for the Coriolis effect. I just shoot and just boom, and you always go like this. It always goes down, like it's pulling itself down, because of the weight of the rifle and stuff, or the caliber, whatever it is you're shooting, and sometimes the wind will move it side or left, It's never truly straight. And that's the thing about these military personnel, is that they know that the earth is flat. These pilots that fly airplanes on a daily basis, they know the earth is flat. You know what I mean? Oh, Tig, dude, that's deep. That's deep. I just seen your question right now. That's deep, bro. If aliens are coming out of outer lands or space. Ooh, like I said, Tig, man, they're oh man. I'm gonna it's all good, man. It's all good, Tony. But man, I don't know, man. Like I said, we live in this world where we just been fed lies and lies and lies. Like I said, the reptilian human race, those reptilian creatures, these demonic beings, Satan's children, they are absolutely real. There's a lot of evidence that proves that they're real. They actually left stone carvings of these things, of these human beings. They call it the Anunnaki. These things, these giants that used to roam the land and all these things, they were mixing DNA with humans and different animals and creating different hybrids and offsprings. In the book of Enoch, it explains it a lot, and the crazy part is, that God, our Heavenly Father, our Lord, he don't want us to search for that crap. He just doesn't want us to, because these satanic people, they're in control of it. That's why, sometimes when I assume like, oh, why can't we go down in the ocean? Why haven't we explored 98% of the ocean's floor, or more of the ocean? It's because I feel like God doesn't want us to do so. That's why we're not meant to go and breathe water. We're meant to breathe the air that God has given us, the gift of life. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I always think that there's a satanic aquatic kingdom down in the waters, because all the Nephilim, all these giants, they got swept away by the flood. And these giants and these giant creatures and beings, their bones and their carcasses, their fossils are all underneath the ground. And God doesn't want us to reveal that. He doesn't want us to see that for some reason. If we go down with a submarine down into the ocean floor, the pressure's just going to get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, and it's going to crush us till we're gone. You know what I mean? So it's just insane. It's insane, the world that we are. But right now, I'm going to go to my next video. I'm going to be on mute. So yeah, okay, never mind. This one, it says that they are one, and who says that? Legion says they are many, man, and that's the crazy part. Oh, sorry, probably the next one I'm gonna mute myself to video. Yeah, Tig, you're right. God doesn't want us to question everything unknown. That's just the crazy part. Because God is protecting us from all that crap, man. He's protecting us from all that. Why do you think the flood came and washed all that crap away? Because he didn't like it. He's like, I'm gonna destroy it and renew this whole creation that he created, man, because it got corrupted by the fallen angels, you know. Ooh, Tony, that's deep too. That is deep. They're extraterrestrial coming from the extra territories across the ice wall. Ooh, that's deep. You know, that's deep. I'm pretty sure, man. I'm pretty sure there's places where, you know, like that kid that was, you know, flying for cancer, you know, he was trying to do a whole donation thing for cancer, a whole sponsorship for them. They ended up stopping him in Antarctica, and then we never heard of him from again. We don't know where he's at right now. You know, I heard anything about his video. You know, he was trying to fly around the earth, and I'm pretty sure he was heading towards the wall, and then they stopped him. And you know, that's the crazy part. Like, all these freaking people are fighting each other. All these countries, you know, I don't like you, but yet then they all agree, including North Korea, including China and Russia. They all agree that the South Pole, Antarctica, is not up for grabs. That is the most stupidest thing ever. And that should literally break the chains of anyone with that delusional mindset of understanding that this is a world stage. I mean, Tony, I guarantee you there's underground bases, underground freaking cities underneath. You know, these reptilian humanoids, man, these demonic beings. I'm pretty sure they hide under there, man. You can hear the government, you know, entities that are digging and with these giant machines underneath. You know, all these booms and all these things that are happening, man. It gets crazy. Liberty guy off grid, bro. Bro. Man, like, don't say your name online. If I met you, I met you, bro. You're probably a cool dude, bro. We probably talked, you know, because, you know, online we're just, no, don't tell your information on everybody. You know, they're watching. You know what I'm saying? But good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Dang, Tig, if the wall's 60,000 feet, you know, that's crazy. Antarctica, you know, that is one of my goals too in life, you know. 6,000 feet, that's crazy, man. That is crazy. You know, that's one of my goals in life, man, to one day, you know, see the firmament, see the wall, go over it, you know. Maybe, you know, God willing, you know, we can actually, you know, meet up with one another or something, you know, one day when everything hits the fan and all this chaos is happening, everyone's distracted fighting each other, we're just like, going to Antarctica, we're gonna go see the firmament, bro, and everyone's just like how did these guys made it, like, how did these, but I guarantee you guys, you know, if we get close to that, I'm pretty sure the world countries, all of them together, all these people, special forces units, I'm pretty sure they have snipers up there, you know, ready just for anybody who wants to come near the firmament, because they're hiding this so bad from the public. If all the world, imagine this, if all the world ended up knowing that what they believe, what they were told is a lie, and they actually, you know, think about it and be like, I don't trust the government, I don't do that no more, you know, the government will lose its mind, it will lose its power. Because Satan, like I said, he has a minuscule amount of power, but God has unlimited power. Let me repeat that again. Satan has limited power. God has unlimited power. You know, Satan can only do so much, but God can do so much more. It's unbelievable, man. Yeah, Tony, I'm telling you, including all these airplanes, you know, they're all rigged with the same, you know, technology in them. You know, the only way you can probably go the ice wall, which this kid was trying to fly to, you know, he didn't have all the technology that all these other airplanes have. He was flying an old school airplane, you know what I mean? So it gets deep, man. It gets deep, man. Alright, I'm gonna go to the next one, you guys.
Rest assured, Carol, we will figure out what makes you different. Figure it out why? so we can fix it. So you can join us.
Basically, in the end of the episode or whatever, you know, she realizes that she's like, hey, how come I'm not like you guys? And then they're like, oh, you can join us so we can fix it. So basically, throughout the whole series of the show, they're trying to figure out a way to get her to conjoin them, you know, to join Legion. But not just that, like I said, there's 11 other survivors out there who didn't get conjoined with Legion. So they're trying to get as many all the people on the earth conjoined together. It's because I guess her DNA didn't want to take Legion in, supposedly, you know, her stem cells. And Legion, you know, doesn't lie. It doesn't lie. It tells the absolute truth, and it always comes. You know, they said that they will move heaven and earth to make her happy, and I'll discuss more about it. If you go watch it yourself, it gets crazy, man. But on the topic that I'm literally discussing, man, it's basically a demonic force, man. It's just demonic, straight demonic, you know, and very few people, you know, they're like, oh, like all these people are just like, you know, intertwined together because of Legion, you know what I'm saying? And it's all like, hold on, guys. The reason why those 11 people didn't get, you know, Legion was because their DNA fought it off. So everybody that got, you know, Legion, their DNA, they didn't fight it off, you know. So I'm telling you, those 11, their DNA fought it off somehow, and they became immune to that crap. So that's the same way I tell you guys to pray to Jesus Christ and open your eyes, ears to hear, you know what I'm saying, and understand the true gospel, the reality of this world. Because the truth will set you free. This world is based on just lies, just straight demonic lies, just deceiving the whole world by the lies of the devil, you know. The devil likes to divide and conquer, to steal and kill and destroy. You know what I mean? And he'll do whatever it takes to keep all these people in this earth, you know, intertwined with the deceivedness of his lies. You know, this is spiritual warfare at a mass scale, ladies and gentlemen, and all we can do is just pray up. I'm going to keep making these lives. I'm going to keep putting as much content as I can for all of you, my people, because, you know, this is something that we have to do, you know, and YouTube has lately, you know, been attacking me 24/7, man. Like they're literally messing with my videos. I make thumbnails for all my videos. If you go to my video and you just see my face there, that was not me. I actually made a thumbnail for that video. But they're messing with my videos. They're messing with my views. They're messing with my subscribers. They're messing with my algorithm because they don't want the truth to be out there. You know, if I was speaking a bunch of lies and I wasn't telling you the truth, I would already have 1 million views. But instead, I have only a few hundred views, a few dozen views. Because why? Because I'm trying to tell you the truth. And a lot of truthers already built their base up for more than a decade. So they have already thousands of views already. They already know that there's a lot of people in line with that. But like I said, there's going to be monitoring spirits out there that just monitor you to watch you, to what you're doing, what you're saying. You know what I mean? And if that criteria fits their agenda, so be it. You know, they're going to give you the publicity, but some people are already earned all the subscribers before YouTube started going and messing with people's YouTube channels, before the algorithm started becoming more so-called intelligent. You know, I'm telling you, man, I'm gonna, like I said, man, it's just crazy. Like I said, you know, if you go see my videos and you see my face and I'm like that and my face like that, and you don't see my thumbnails because YouTube is messing with me, bro. YouTube is messing with me. I clearly put a freaking thumbnail for all my videos. Every single one of them, I put a custom thumbnail that we took time and effort, and YouTube is just messing it up. You know, if I get taken down, I got my YouTube channel on BitChute. You can join me free free, no charge on Patreon. You know, you can join me on Rumble. You know, I'm working to make a backup YouTube channel as I speak. You know what I mean? Because, you know, these people, the YouTube, these demonic beings that are on YouTube that you know are in charge of YouTube, they're all demonic, bro. They're all demonic. Yeah, Tig, yeah. Everything's demonic, man. The reason why I don't pray is because you know in the Bible it tells us, you know, to pray privately, you know, not to be, you know, praying throughout the world, but, you know, to show the world that we're praying and stuff, you know. But in the end of my video, you know, if you guys want to hear a prayer, I can give you the Lord's Prayer, you know. But yeah, liberty, yeah. Yeah, I'm telling you, that's what I'm saying, man. It's just crazy because, you know, it's just crazy because a lot of us, you know, that are truthers, you know, even, oh yeah, I forgot to mention that if you guys have watched the new Hours of Horror, you know, I love watching that dude, you know, because he puts a lot of truth out there, and he put up a video today about Jesus becoming an artificial robot, bro, that was created by the powers that be. And this artificial robot, what I was seeing in that card, because it's on the card game, you know, that card game and the Illuminati card game, that it's going to be a fake Jesus that saves everyone from the world, from the UFOs. But in reality, he's going to be a robot AI created by the powers that be. And all these UFOs are going to be over us. And, you know, this artificial Jesus is going to come and you're just going to turn them all off. It's going to be a giant deception and everyone's going to follow the fake Christ. Dude, that's deep. I was like, whoa. I'm like, I don't doubt that Project Bluebeam and all the powers that be are going to try to deceive the world because of that. So many people are coming close to Jesus Christ. So many people are converting to Christianity. So many people are starting to follow Christ with all their heart, their might, and their soul. And they're going to be deceived again because Satan is losing the battle. It's losing its followers, bro. And I'm telling you, so many Satanists, so many sorcerers, so many warlocks, witches, you know, all these people that are in the satanic, you know, regime, you know, they're going and converting into Christianity. Muslims, Jews, Buddhism, you know, so-called Catholics, you know, they're converting to following Jesus Christ because they are understanding that they have been told is a lie. And so many people, man, so many people are gonna go back. They might get re-deceived again because they're going to see this fake artificial Jesus, you know, say boom, and all these UFOs are just going to come down. Then they're going to praise this artificial intelligence robot made by the powers that be, and they're going to praise upon a fake antichrist system, you know, a fake Christ. Oh my gosh, freaking Hours of Horror was going at it on that one, man. I'm telling you. Yeah, he has 3 channels. You know, I'm subscribed to all of them. You know, I think RFB is gonna post a video about Project Bluebeam. I think tomorrow. You know, and it's crazy, man, because there's been a lot of chemtrails, you know, everywhere, man. Chemtrails are coming. They're getting crazy, man. And the moon, if you have seen the moon, it's a crescent moon that's upside down. It looks like a freaking smile. It looks like that freaking cat from Alice in Wonderland. You know what I mean? And it's just creepy, man. It's supposed to be supposedly right now it's spring, but it's like coming in February, like late February. It was actually, I was seeing that crescent moon like in the end of January. So it's just wild what all this weather, the signs and symbols are just being used everywhere, man. Satan is working hard and deep right now, man. He's working, you know what I mean? And we as the people who are you know, followers of Christ, you know, we have to understand that these things are legitimately happening, man. If you're a follower of Christ, put your heart and whole soul unto Jesus Christ. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up for today. You know, oh man. hold on. You know, if you guys want to talk more, you know, I'll leave my email account down there, you know, for you guys can message me, you know, just don't blow it up, you know, just, you know, a few messages here and there, you know, American Mexican Gunslinger at gmail.com. You know, you guys can go and you know, send me whatever curious question and thought you guys have, you know. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that is a wrap, man. And if you have any strange videos you want to show me, anything, you know, like that, don't spam me with a bunch of YouTube videos, man. Just don't do that. You know, if you have your own resourceful videos, you know, send them up, man. You know, I would love to see them. You know, if you saw something, or you're even of an interesting like YouTube video that's actually, you know, showing truth, or even not from YouTube. It can be from BitChute or somewhere where YouTube, you know, doesn't allow these videos. You know what I mean? Like, dang, Bonnie, that's creepy, man. That's sad. Poor little Bush. It didn't deserve that, bro. Like, poor little Bush. You know what I mean? Because all life is precious, man. Especially when you're growing your little plants and stuff. You know, those things are life. You know, God created those things as well, you know. And it's just sad that the powers that be have the capability to spray some substance over us, and then, you know, the world just watches and like, it's just contrails, you know, it's just, you know, condensation from the airplane, and they never look into these things, man. They just like assume, they just go and follow the science and agree with it, you know, like these atheists, these people who don't even want to search for God. They live normie lives. They just don't want to search for this stuff, man. They just don't, man. And they'll label you as crazy. Oh, poor Bonnie, man. Yeah, that's sad, man. That's sad. You know, all life is precious, man. All life is precious. You know, it's sad when especially when you took your time and effort to, you know, grow something, you know, even raise up an animal or a pet. Like, it's messed up when it ends up going out, man. It's messed up. You know, but I'm going to end it up with the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For that is thy kingdom, thy power, and thy glory forever. In Jesus Christ I pray through you. Amen. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys around. Peace.